Yeah, we're good to go.
Okay. So, hello everyone. Today is 21st of August, and we welcome you to Meshery's development meeting. So, as a housekeeping item, I would ask anyone who is new to the call to introduce yourself. So, I see Anuj Kumar Sharma. Are you new to the call? Hello, Anuj. Adesh, are you new?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Hello guys, my name is Adesh and I just exploring the open source. I have contributed in Meshery service uh, and I'm new to this, so I don't have any such knowledge in that. But I'm trying to learn new things and also I apply for LFX also. Let's see how it goes. Hello
Nice.
guys.
Uh, Okay, and as a housekeeping item as well, you should add your name at the in the attendance list over here. So
Okay.
yeah, so everyone, is there anyone new? I don't see anyone new other than Anuj. So Anuj, if you could introduce yourself in chat, it would be nice for everyone to know you. And let's start with first item. So it's Tomiwa, enhanced description of Meshery CRDs. Tomiwa, would you like to share your updates?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you, Misha.
Yeah.
Yes. So, just a couple minutes to view the. Okay. So the issue is about adding
Ad-
descriptions for Meshery CRDs.
you want to share your screen yourself, or shall I show it?
Yeah, yeah. I can do that.
Okay, please.
Uh, a minute. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay. So the issue is about adding field descriptions for Meshery CLDs. This was the original issue by Kipton. So the custom resource definitions here used for installing Meshery does not have descriptions across Meshery and then the Meshery operator. So largely what I've done is I went through the documentation across Meshery custom resource definitions. I went through a lot of documentation across Meshery docs. So and then I tried to like fill the descriptions of particular fields in CRD. So I'll put on the CRD now. Just I think this. So Lee already commented on some field description that I did, and I think we are not yet like concluded on the on the description. So I'll just go to the last commit that I did to just describe things that I've done so far. So can you still see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, hey,
Okay,
this,
okay.
this is great. So tell me what, this is great. Are there any specific questions or any specific properties that you think might need to be reviewed over and above the others? Is there anything for us to discuss?
Largely no. The actual thing was we had a back and forth, me and myself and you, about things that I did on the description. So you gave me some instructions twice, and I already did that. So you said you will review a third time. So I think I've not gotten the third review yet, but you said that would be like a final review. So I'm actually waiting for that final review to actually know what I've done. But for the two reviews that you gave, I already did the like corrections and made it through.
Nice. Oh, good. All right. So,
Yeah.
this is probably one of those PRs that is an opportunity for anyone that's on the call to offer up some feedback. Oh, to go give a review. If you want to see some activity on your GitHub profile, you'll probably get some from doing the review. You will help improve the project, and Tommy will feel good because he'll be getting feedback. And so anybody is welcome to give a review on any pull request. It's a great way to get familiar with the project, help advance it at the same time. It's a challenge for the handful of maintainers that we have to like try to keep up. And so good. Tommy, thanks a bunch for jumping in and
All right.
yeah, enhancing these.
All right. Thank you very much.
Now,
I'll stop. Okay.
quick question from me. So the custom resource definitions that we're looking
Yes.
at here,
Yes.
do we have two copies of the same definitions?
Yes, actually, because there is one for Meshery, and then there's another one for the Meshery operator. It's indicated here on the left here. If you can see my arrow, there's the Meshery operator CRDs here, and then there's the Meshery CRDs here. So that's actually two copies.
Does,
And go ahead.
does anyone know if that might, should we probably be like eliminating one of these charts?
I will.
Yeah, I think we can because like
Okay. Okay.
the
So
CRDs here are just concerned for the operator.
Yes, because lately when I initially looked at both files, they are actually the same. They have actually the same content.
good deal. All right. Uzair, that sounds like something for you to follow up on. So tell me why no action on your part needed in order to deduplicate those. But
Okay.
good deal.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for tackling it.
Okay, thank you. I'll go ahead. So next item is from Akansh Modi. Would you like to go ahead with your two updates? Update to download
Yeah.
catalog item.
Yeah. Then let me share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
How to hide this video file? Let me continue.
Yeah.
Mhm. So the problem with Meshery is when we go to meshery.io catalog, so it shows bunch of items to download from. So when we click on download, it usually hit us with a course issue. Mhm. So basically, we are unable to download the file due to course issue. As you can see here. So the fix that I found was that instead of using when I'm unable to use my screen properly. I'm sorry, guys.
You're good. Anyway,
Wait a minute.
I think we probably got the issue. So great. So has anyone taken a look at this
So-
and validated that it's an issue?
So the thing is, instead of using patch to basically fetch the item, we can do is we can directly navigate to the link which we are using here to download the item. Um, so when we navigate to to this item, the item get downloaded bypassing the course issue.
Yeah, wait, stop. I can't,
Um,
let me interrupt you for a minute if you could.
okay.
Thanks. You're good. People need to come and validate that this is an issue, and it certainly looks like it is. From what I'm seeing in the request URL, I don't know that we should be trying to download from the playground. It looks like
Yeah.
someone
We should be
has.
using the cloud API basically instead
Yeah,
of this
good.
link.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
cut you
I
off.
was coming to.
I'm gonna mute you for just a moment, just so that you don't accidentally interrupt me as I'm speaking. Yep, you're right. We should probably do it from cloud. So thanks for pointing this out. If you have it is a valid issue. If you have a suggested solution, please, which it sounds like you do for cloud, please PR if you're ready. I'll unmute you.
Akansh, do you the second item that you have on the list, is it the same item? Hello? He's still muted. You're still muted.
Let's go to the next item on the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Akansh
Okay.
and Lee. Okay. I'll move to the next item.
Should I move it to my next item or?
Sure.
Yes, please.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, thank you. Is my screen visible now?
No,
Yes.
it's been
No.
visible. By the way, let me interrupt for just a moment and say, hey, we're going to try to get some stuff done today, so we're going to move kind of quick. So if I accidentally offend by cutting off, well, that's the way it is. You can flame me on Twitter.
Okay.
The second thing is, hey, we can forego if your screen isn't visible. Rest assured, people will tell you. So, Tomiwa, you don't have to ask twice. Akansh, you don't have to ask twice. We can just roll. Go.
Okay.
Akansh, you can start means with the screen sharing. Be quick, please.
Yeah. Okay. Wait a minute. Hmm. So what we want to do here is we want when we click on the download button, the leaderboard at layer5.meshery.io should get updated. But as we know that we are using the wrong link for downloading the item, it is not getting updated. And even at the website meshery.layer5.io, after downloading the item the matrix doesn't update, so I think that this is
Yes.
an issue with the
Yeah.
backend side.
Hello. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the metrics, the download metrics, the view metrics are refreshed every hour. So if you download it, it will be like basically updated when the metrics refresh the next hour. So the changes will not be reflected immediately. So you can just put a fix to download from Meshery Cloud, and the rest will be solved.
Okay. So yeah, that was my issue.
Thank you, Akansh, Lee, and Uzair. So we'll move forward to the next issue. The next issue is from Kevin, document catalog publishing workflow. So Kevin.
Yeah, sure. So uh, basically, the issue is all about to publish the existing workflow of like to publish the design into workflow. Sorry, catalog. So basically, I have document that in the concepts section in catalog page, in which I have added this SVG of the workflow from the Meshery architect and a little bit of description about it. And this description is nothing very much new. This was similar that what we have in uh, slides where Meshery architecture is. So yeah, If any doubt regarding this or suggestion, I will be happy to take.
Lee or anyone else? Any feedback? Anyone?
Yeah, and so like, we will go over your PR and let you know
Yes.
in the team meeting.
Uh, the second update. You can go with the second update.
Okay. So this issue is like about to unpublishing and editing the description. So like coding part has been done, but the workflow design has not been done. So can you please go like scroll down? I no still
That's all.
yeah. Can you please click on it? Yeah. So I have created this workflow diagram for unpublishing the design from the catalog. Uh, so yeah, I mean if I have tried basically whenever the request go to server, then if it has the curator role, the design will be unpublished. But if it doesn't, then like in if you see in UI, there will be a small component. It will show that error to unpublished design or something like that. So yeah, this was one of the workflow which I want to bring.
So if user doesn't have a Twitter role, so they will not be able to unpublish the catalog item, which makes sense. But I think you are missing the scenario when I have published an item and now I want to like unpublish it. So the owner of the catalog item uh,
Yes,
should
owner
have
can
the
unpublish it.
yeah. So I think you are missing that part, that scenario of flow inside this slide.
Okay, so I will update that.
Thank you.
Else conceptually, I think it is clear, right?
Yeah.
So,
Kevin, just to qualify real fast, you had said that if a different user tries to unpublish a catalog item, that there's an error shown. Did that error, was that expected and did that make logical sense?
I mean error in the sense like in UI there will be a small like component will appear. If I can share my screen, I can show in
Yeah,
playground.
please. Means you can
Yeah.
get that up and running, and if it takes time, then we can roll back to you.
Okay, it would be fine then.
Okay.
I will make things ready.
Is that okay with everyone? So moving on, it's Ankita's, yeah, regarding layer 5 cloud support page CSS fix. So Ankita, would you like to go ahead?
Sure. And my screen should be visible now. So if we head up to the layer 5 cloud page up here, and then from the drop down, we select the support page, this screen pops up. Unlike the other pages, here there's a margin, an additional margin top that's added. So I had to fix that. With the PR that I sent, I've removed that margin top. There's one issue with this. So that is, if you head up to the dashboard screen, you'll find this margin tab that I've removed is affecting this screen as well. It's the only screen that it's affecting. So now the current suggestion that I had on the PR was if we could change the way we are structuring. Just a moment, I think this is where the PR page is. Yes. If we could change the structure of the support page altogether and not have it under the layout of the parent structure, then like the other pages are in the drop down menu, then maybe we can fix it. So yeah, that's a minor small fix from my end. I still need to work it out with Sudhanshu because he's giving a couple of feedbacks and comments on this. Should I stop sharing so that someone else could pick it up? Next.
Uh, yeah, I think no one has a feedback to give to you. Means if Sudhanshu is tracking it with you, he should be able to give feedback in chat or in comments. So I'll quickly share my screen. So the next item is from Jiren. It's E2E test. Jiren, do you want to go ahead?
Okay. Let me show the screen. Basically, I working with the way to record for specific task in test on the mesh map. So the way I did is first it will go to the mesh map extension directly, and then it will check to the first design. There are a problem because there are a tutorial first, so we need to like checklist them and checklist them. But it also when we doing this, we separate by project, so it will not affect the other test case. And also we need to specify like each project to run in the CI as well. And oh, okay. When I testing it, there are several issues. One of the when we doing this update up to grid, it will delay the update first, and so I think we can fix it with using the optimistic update. Basically, it will update first the behavior, and then when it like file to update, it will update it again in the background. So it's blocking the test right now because of the behavior is checked, is doing the checkbox, but it can get the feedback because it's already checked or no.
So did you fix
So
this behavior such that like the checkbox changes only after the request is successful, or
you mean the optimistic update?
yes?
Basically, it not a way, it's not directly to update the behavior, but when it's fail, it will re-update again with the new data.
Okay, so what
So
I'm
I
saying is
think
that your current approach is, I think current approach is not perfect. So I think instead of adding a fix inside the test itself, we can update the logic inside the extensions UI such that the toggle only changes to a state when the request is successful. I mean, like only after the request gets successful, it changes its state. Does that make sense?
uh, it will update the behavior first. So and it will re-update after the state done. Let me think, is there example like this?
I think I might be missing something. I will check it. Yeah.
So, it can be done in the Redux, I think, the state level. And for this one, because I'm unable to send directly, I need to set up the reporter first, and that's why I roll back to the I put them back to the built-in server and remove this file. So after I got the reporter, I need to make it to be report in Markdown and table base so it can be seen. After that, I can directly send without to restructure the data again. Yeah, that's it, I think. Any feedback?
Jiren, there are some feedback in chat from Lee for you, so you can answer it. And is there any feedback from anyone else?
Jarens, this is great, man. This is great. Do so this sets, well, I don't know that this necessarily sets precedent, but maybe it does. Remind me real fast, if you would, the assertion that you're making to say that, you know, this function is working or not, or like the test has passed or not. What's the assertion that you're verifying? That you're receiving back notification or something else? The state of the toggle?
Yeah, basically, I check like the design you tell to check the first design. So can you see the video? Okay, let's go directly to the page
Oh yeah, you know
and check the first design.
we're seeing the GitHub.com page with the workflow, or that's what I'm seeing. Yeah.
Okay. Let me share them. Okay. Yeah, basically from here. Basically, I separate the test because they are tutorial, so I need to skip it first. So it's be a different test case. It's directly going to prep and checking the parts test and the loading. But I think because it's the author version, so it's okay, yeah, it's F1 beta, the same format.
Yeah, say it one more time. What's the format of the screen capture?
Which one?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought a second ago when you said the format, were you talking about the format of the video file, or were you talking about a different format?
Oh, it's a web in.
Oh, that's great.
in
Nice and small. Jaren, say this is really exciting. I didn't know that what you were showing is a screen recording. So this is nice. Actually, this is another opportunity for most of the folks that are on the call to collaborate. Like Meshery is a big project and it integrates with all kinds of technologies. It's easy for Meshery to become incompatible with the technology. It's also easy for Meshery to get a bug into its code base. It's easy for any software to get a bug, but Meshery is the 10th fastest growing CNCF project out of 200 plus projects. That's pretty cool. And that's evidenced by, 30 of you on the call. Awesome. The faster that Meshery moves, or the more of us that there are, hey, the more likely there's a bug is going to slip in. Stupid thing. They can squeeze through the smallest cracks. We've got scorpions here where I live. We just killed one in our bathtub yesterday, man. Anyway, you don't want to get into a bathtub with a scorpion. It's going to be a real quick bath. But the bugs slip in, just like scorpions slip into your bath. No one's going to be comfortable getting into the shower tonight. It's going to be bad. All right. Anyway, the point of what I'm saying is, Jaren, we're talking about scorpions and bathtubs. How did this? Jaren's is working on end-to-end integration tests using Playwright as a tool that for like UI-centric testing, end-to-end testing of functional testing. The nice thing about these types of tests is they tend to invoke a lot of code at once. So there's a lot of code invoked when you enable or disable the grid layout, as Jaren's was showing. That's great. Many of these types of tests are needed. And even I could potentially write one of these end-to-end tests. As long as I'm following what Jaren's is doing, I could probably just make some small modifications to like turn on the other toggle button. And I could probably be successful. And if I could do it, oh yeah, anybody else on the call can do it. So this is an excellent place to jump in. You'll receive support and time on the call, and we'll talk about it much more than we will talk about CSS and padding being removed on the UI. We want to, and we have, Jaren's, are you able to share the compatibility matrix inside of the docs? Like, so as Jaren's goes to share that, there's a list of tests that occur between Meshery adapters and Meshery server today. Each adapter repo runs a series of tests with some frequency. When they get done, Jaren's, maybe I'll share it. If when those tests get done, the test results are self-documenting. So the test results will be shown in Meshery docs. In this case, the test results are under adapters, the compatibility matrix. So we want to, right now, this compatibility matrix here is adapter specific, and it doesn't need to be, and it shouldn't be. We don't want to test just the capabilities of adapters, but we want to test the capabilities of all the things. So as those tests run from the adapters, when the test gets done, it will self-report the results. So for this test run, it was run under this scenario. And when it ran, it tested these three things. They had these three assertions, and they failed. But it's self-documenting. Wow, this is confidence inspiring if you're a user and you're wanting to make sure that the versions of technologies that you have in your environment are compatible with Meshery. Great. So the faster that Meshery moves, the more of these and the more investment in the framework that we have for testing, the more important it becomes. This is a great goal to have, that this compatibility matrix should be wildly sophisticated in terms of what you could potentially see. This version of that technology with this version of Meshery and the tracking of those results, and the more effort, and there's already been a lot of effort put into how this works, the more of it that's there, the easier it is to diagnose and understand what's going on. And okay, good. So that's a call, the second call, I think, general call on today's meeting for anyone on the meeting to contribute. Like, these are easy areas to get into. Jaren's specifically, you were just showing, I think, something that we haven't necessarily done before with Playwright, or previously we were using Cypress. And that is, I guess we had done some screen recording in Cypress just to be able to help track what, like, when an integration test had failed, sort of trying to understand what had failed and going back and looking at that screen recording. In this sense, so that's great to have. We're also looking at maybe using that screen recording a little differently. So I won't take up time to describe it because I think it'll take me a couple of minutes. But suffice to say, I'm excited about the work that you're doing, Jaren's. Maybe if you were to share your screen one more time, we can just take a quick look at that workflow. Part of what you're doing in the workflow is that as that workflow kicks off on a pull request and it executes certain tests, it will return back to the pull request and add a comment on the pull request to present the disposition of the tests, whether or not they passed or failed. To the extent that we wanted, let's say, if you would educate me for a moment, let's say that what we're trying to test is whether or not the slider switch, like the toggle for a particular preference, like you were sharing in the screen recording, if we wanted to write an end-to-end test that verified that a certain option was turned on and was successfully on, or turned off and verify that it was turned, in fact, it was turned off, how do we approach that? Like, are we just looking for the fact that the slider stayed in the off position? Or are we looking for the fact that we get a response back, that a little message, and we're like searching for certain text in the message? That seems a little fragile to the extent that someone were to change the text. Like, I guess there's a variety. Do we go off and hit an API to then verify that the certain state of it, or what do we do in general?
Please, actually, there are two ways to test the toggle button. Like, if the user toggle the button, then we can check whether it is checked or not. And we can, in the side, we can have the pop-up message, and we can set it whether the message is displayed or not. And the second thing is we can test the HTTP request, whether the HTTP request is sent and we get the right response or not.
Got you. Yeah. So there sounded like potentially three ways, two of which sounded fragile to me. And I'm not reflecting on your suggestions. You're just saying, hey, here's the possible ways. And two of them sound fragile. So one of them, if we're looking for an HTTP code, the HTTP response code, sometimes Meshery does a really good job of sending back, like maybe they'll send back a 200 saying it was accepted, and maybe it was accepted, and the server is saying everything's good, but actually it failed somewhere along the way, or it didn't quite do what it was supposed to. So that seems slightly fragile, not exactly the fault of the test, but more like, and sometimes the error codes just aren't specific enough. It's like, yeah, the operation request was received, but subsequently it did something else. Like it's hard. The other one of like looking for text or like a response back, also that language, that notification text is likely to change, or when someone does change it, they're not necessarily always thinking of what test they're breaking as they do it. So tests become fragile. It's frustrating. That third way, though, if we're able to go back to a particular, in this case, if we're turning on and off preferences, if we can go back to the preferences API and ask it, hey, what's the state of that preference? That seems like, if we're being API driven, APIs and the changes that occur to them should be well considered and, thoughtful as we go to change those. So people should be considering for whether or not they're breaking an end-to-end test. B, it goes back and asks the server at some point later, hey, did you really complete that? And as a matter of fact, I'm not going to, like in the moment that I'm performing the test, I'm not going to be looking for something. In a separate moment, I'm going to go ask you, was this change affected? So that sounds pretty great. Does anybody have a different approach, or is that kind of like what we're doing today, Jarens?
If I get correctly, you want to see when the test is filed, right?
Yeah.
Using the video, or yeah, we can catch it and then send it to the comment as well.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, maybe only to send it on failure, the screen recording. In part, the idea behind capturing a screen recording is this idea that when you visit any of Meshery's pull requests, so again, if you're on the call and you're listening to me, you might go visit the Meshery repo, the main Meshery repo, take a look at a pull request. And actually, Jarens, if you could show it, this would be great. If you visit Meshery, pull up any pull request, you should see a comment from Meshery, actually, with a picture of a design. That design is Meshery's deployment design. So good. So, all right. So now this is a snapshot. It's a particular moment in time. It's just a captured image. Imagine if perhaps this was a WebM, or this was a animated GIF or a video that someone could play. It might be a little more intriguing to just visually appealing to see these in motion just for a couple of seconds. And so that's part of the idea behind what might be nice to have for a screenshot, or why it might be nice to have a screen recording. Cool.
Okay, maybe if we want to like capture specific thing, we can. I also add like a project for specific for recording. So no matter it fail or not, it will also run the recording. So we can copy and paste there to capture it behavior as well. So it can run on success as well. But it's need to manually copy.
Nice. Really quick, and then we should move on. You didn't happen to notice if, while capturing that screen recording, if we have the ability to trim the recording, or like only record a certain portion of the test and not the other portions? It's something to take a look at just in case. Because if we were to
Yeah.
attach that screen recording here, we would really just want like, 3 seconds or so specifically of when the design was being rendered.
Maybe we need some library for time lapse to speed up the video recording.
Yeah. If you would humor me and just take another quick look at Playwright just to see if there's if there's any more control over when to start and stop recording. That'd be nice. Great. Is there any
Oh.
other feedback? Yeah. Terrence, did we miss anything?
Basically, it will split like for each test, small part of the test.
Yeah, wait. I didn't. You say it one more time? I didn't make out what you said.
Let's say each test have the suite in it, so they are part of each test. So the video will be splitting.
Got you. Okay. Nice. That's encouraging. Yeah, if the video splits and we're able to just capture just for that portion of the test. Cool. Great.
But we need to keep in mind the test. We need to not make a longer test. Just make that simple step.
Yeah. Yeah. So right. Perhaps most of the time the recording isn't taking place potentially. Or like you were saying before, only record on failure or only keep it on hand on failure. And so for these snapshots, that would be a separate workflow. Like that would be cool. Good. Maybe I'll talk to you about snapshots a little bit more separately. This is nice. So again, thank you, Aditya Mohan, for chiming in and stepping in to kind of volunteer and get into this area. There's more folks needed, more collaborators needed. So back to you, Shlok.
Thank you, Lee, Jiren, Abid, and Aditya for your comments. Jiren, there are a few comments from Abid in chat, so you can look at them. And as Lee said, it's a great area, and I think the next item is also from the same, or maybe. So it's from Senthil. So Senthil, you wanna go next?
Yeah, sure. Well, my items are migrating the components from the class to functional component. Plus, if the components contains any older function of data fetched for the API calls, and I have migrated to the RTK query as well. And I have covered some basic bigger for the components, such as the navigator component tests whether it navigates the user to the selected components or not. But my question is whether this level of testing is sufficient to validate the basic behavioral of the component. Was there any feedback?
I need to check that.
Sorry, sense like
testing
if
that
you
we are doing.
wait, what were you saying? Like, what the level of testing?
Like the
It will
tests that we have currently
basically
written
check
are
with
related to which.
Yeah, there's a couple. Is it the best practice to call out the buttons by name? Or if there was a separate unique identifier that might not ever change, the tests might not be as fragile, particularly when you have a name like Meshery button 2 sort of thing. Like, that's an opportunity to enhance the name of the button, by the way. But is that our practice currently, is to interface with the display name of things?
Yeah, actually, in Playwright, it's the better practice to use the like semantic names rather than going through the IDs. Like these are more performant and also like are async to like we can know when something comes up. So it's better to do it this way. Especially like for if you are going for like state-based components like checkboxes and all of those components, it's easier to know like what state they are in using these locators, the semantic HTML locators.
Senthil, does that make sense? It sounds like it doesn't make sense.
Partially.
What's that?
I couldn't understand fully. But I have read some blogs like using the database ID will not be more efficient than getting the role, whether it is heading with the name, might be good.
Abid, I don't know if you guys are on the same page.
No, I think I'm missing something here. Like it's usually in planar, like it's recommended to use the role-based selectors, like rather than the data ID and ID-based selectors. So, but it's like for if we are changing the names frequently, then it's better to use IDs. It's just like how our code-based functions. Like if we are not like if the names are changing, then it's better to use the data IDs and like ID-based identifiers. But if that's not the case, then these identifiers are better to use.
Santa,
So then we need to
So
like
if you
for
want to
each of
use the
the
database ID,
components inside the code base, we need to give a special like test ID, and usually we would change the components, and then it breaks. Like all of those tests would break.
let's say if you have a header component, probably it's a reusable one, right? Then how can we check whether it's a life cycle or connections or environments header?
Essentially, your voice is breaking a bit. Like we're just saying, like how we could identify a specific header component.
Yeah, let's say the navbar header is the reusable component. If we had the database ID, unique one, let's say if I navigate to the lifecycle page, if I use the database ID rather than having the name, then probably it could be how can we ensure that whether it is a lifecycle dashboard or connections dashboard or environments dashboard.
The thing is like you need to get to the locator, like how the user would like first find the locator where the place, like if you're trying for a button inside the side panel, like first go into the side panel, so locate the side panel first. From that side panel, maybe go to the header, and from that header go to that that particular locator. So do it like chain through the process where it's exactly located, because sometimes like if you do like the text-based locators or all this, there would be multiple on the page, so you need to exactly go to the exact place. And it's the same thing with the test ones. If you add a data test to a reusable component, and that component would be like 10, 20 times reused across the page, you won't be able to identify which one it is. So you still need to go to the exact position of the section inside the page.
Cool. I dropped a link to where you can reference the best practices for Playwright for the thing that we're discussing. So very good.
Yeah.
Any other feedback needed? Slope, we're on to the next item.
Yeah. Thank you, Senthil and Lee and Abid for the feedback. Now the next item is from Avani. Is she on call?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. You wanna go next?
Yeah. Okay, so I was working on interpreting Meshery designs, and I'm almost done with it. So there's a section on Kubernetes components, relationships. uh, Um, yeah, so I think okay, yeah. So relationships and integrations, then how to identify components on the playground canvas, then annotations. So Yeah, I also wanted to confirm if this is a better color than using red. So this wasn't particularly part of um the
No,
theme.
yeah, no,
of
not necessarily, because it just means warning as well. It means like,
this okay.
yep, orange does. I don't know. That's what it means in the US. You're driving on the road, got a yellow warning sign. What colors are warning signs, whether it's on the road or just in life? Anybody?
So
Bueller? What color? Pink? Hot pink? Neon pink? What color might they be?
mm,
Oh, I don't know.
so um the rest of the colors were kind of blending in with the playground.
Yeah. If
That
you, yeah, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I've got the best suggestion necessarily outside of you might put a big stroke on the outside of the item. Like sometimes it's ideal if you annotate the image directly and just have the text or the explanatory text within the image. Maybe, I don't know. The red, this isn't necessarily better than red. I appreciate you guys trying to changing it. Red is, I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's probably not worth the change. We may as well stick with red. If we were to use a brand color, it might get washed out. Like, because yeah, these are annotations, you do want them to stand out. If you were to put a drop shadow behind it, if you use a large stroke on the outside of the circle, that will help, because sometimes the background will be white, sometimes it'll be dark, and that might help set it apart. I don't know. I don't have a perfect answer per se. Those are just ideas that
yeah,
come to mind.
I'll probably try that out. Then there's a section on the difference between arrow annotations and edge network relationships. So I'm still reviewing this, and there are some terms that I'm not sure of. For example, I just wrote custom resource components for integrations. So this is basically just I'm trying to think of the perfect term for the other integrations like the AWS components and things like that. So I wasn't really sure of a term. Then also, there's supposed to be a section on how to actually differentiate between the ones that are configurable and ones that are just designs. But
Annotations.
okay, yeah, but since they look the same, I think the only thing is that okay, one is configurable, the other is not on the design canvas, but looking at it visually, they still look the same. So wasn't sure of how to add in that part. I'm still thinking about it. So yeah, that's it for me.
So good. So that's an ongoing challenge. So for people, everybody on the call, one of the ways in which the components here are visualized, well, it looks like this, looks like that embedded design. And some of those components, those squares, some of them might represent the actual AWS infrastructure, and they might be highly configurable. And when you click deploy, you might get a new S3 bucket and CloudFront and all this stuff. Or the components are sometimes just a square that's green and has a white logo. Like it's just an annotation. And what Awani is pointing out is like, without clicking on it, you can't really tell the difference. There isn't some little sorry, some little marker, some little indicator that conveys that. So if there's a standard convention, like a fully opaque background, or like there's some standard convention, some standard visual indicator that one is an annotation and is sort of only meaningful to us users. If anybody's got any ideas, please bring them forth, please. Say it's been an ongoing. By the way, this document overall, well, I imagine it'll be really highly referenced. Has anybody opened up a Meshery design and wondered what everything means? Deepak, has that happened to you? If that hasn't happened to anyone, then maybe it won't be a very highly referenced, right? Deepak, that sounds like that has not happened to you, so that's good. Hussein, any thoughts on that? By chance?
No, Lee, I have not seen this.
Okay. All right. Well, Awani, thanks for working on that. For my part, I think, yeah, people wonder what the difference between a solid line and a dashed line is and what that might mean. And sometimes it's not, sometimes it's evident, but sometimes it's not. Like if one component is square shaped and the other one is a circle, is that just for aesthetics, just to look, so you don't look at squares the whole time? Or does that actually mean something? And so I think we'll go invite a couple of UX friends to come help think through this. There's a few folks that are friends of the project that are into like human-centered design, user-centered design. There's some psychology behind this. So, and we may not be, to the extent that collectively we were having a hard time figuring out what color you associate with a warning or caution, and nobody was speaking up to say a color, we're probably color handicapped here, maybe. Or we're just too shy. I don't know. Anyway, there's a KubeCon talk actually at KubeCon North America on this topic. So it'll be talked about.
So thank you, Lee and Avani. I think we are over time. Lee, you want to discuss about the incubation and then probably we can end the call.
Meshery's up for incubation as a project. It's the middle tier maturity level within the CNCF. Chris Carrier presented a summarization of Meshery and its sort of where it has been and where it's going a couple of weeks ago at the tag runtime meeting. And so we haven't received any questions just yet from those tag chairs. Next steps include a TOC member signing up to sponsor the project or signing up to help take the project through its due diligence, which includes like interviewing people that have adopted Meshery and just making sure the project is solid. They haven't made an assignment yet, so I'll go inquire.
So I think that's all. I'll wait for 5 seconds before wrapping up the call. So if anyone has anything important to discuss, so you can discuss it right now. And all the topics that we missed today will be covered in next week's call. Regarding Meshery, it would be highly appreciated if you go and star the repo, because as you can see, we are in on 5.5K. So I guess, yeah, that's it.
Hey, thanks for hosting, Shlok.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. Nice. Okay.
Thank-
Hey, do we have a meeting tomorrow? The build and release meeting? If so, is
Yeah.
there an agenda?
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the agenda is being created. If you have any items around the CI or interested in build and release, we are joining tomorrow's build and release meeting. It is on the same time as the devs call.
See you guys. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.